Hi, people. Stars of a Star. Uh, I know it's been a while since I've updated. Had a couple of things going on, some not so good, but God is still God and He's still in control. So this video is going to be a little bit long because I have a few things to update on, so I'm going to do it in two parts. This first part is going to be about the hospital. So I've been in the hospital, which is another reason that I've been unable to update this week. On Sunday morning, we were getting ready for church, and I was bending down, trying to put my stockings on. You know how we ladies do when we're in a rush. I was standing on my left foot, had my right leg lifted and bent over, and I felt a small pop in my back, which anyone who's been following my videos knows that I have a ruptured disc in my back. So the pain was immediate. I was down on my hands and knees on the floor. My husband walked out of the master bathroom, saw me on the floor, ran over, was asking me what was wrong. The only thing I could say was my back. So after about 20 minutes, we were able to get me up onto the bed, and I had to miss church. I don't like to miss church. So we were on the bed, and I told my husband that I was just going to stay in bed. He agreed that I just needed to stay down and rest. The pain was really, really bad. So I was taking my muscle relaxers, my pain pills, and I just stayed in bed all day. And so on Monday, I had my nephew and my godson, who had stayed all the previous week with me. My godson is 2. He grabbed him by his arm, and he was standing on the glass coffee table, and I was barely moving around, but they got him off the coffee table, and I grabbed him by his arm and was walking with him, and he decided to throw all of his weight down in a temper tantrum, which he weighs about 35 to 40 pounds. It yanked me forward, and I heard a really big pop and in my back, and the pain was immediate. I could put no pressure on my right side at all. My 13-year-old son, who was home with me, he was frantic. He was so upset, and I was just crying and screaming because the pain was so terrible. And so my husband was 3.5 hours away in Hot Springs, Arkansas. He had just went up that morning to go to work. We were calling him. Then we called my sister, my mother, and everyone who's also a couple hours away from me. So he went across the street, and he got my neighbor, and she tried to get me to go to the hospital. I told her no. She wanted to call an ambulance. I said no, just let me lay here for a while, and I'll be okay. It's happened, well, not this bad before, but I've had these little episodes before. Never the popping and never the extreme amount of pain, but I was just sure that if I laid there, it would get better. Needless to say, it didn't get better. A few hours later, after taking my Loratabs 10s, muscle relaxers that were, I think, 750 milligrams, something like that, I had taken 1,000 milligrams of Loratabs, which, if you know anything, you know that's an extreme amount of pain pills. It did nothing for the pain. So I called my doctor. I told him what I had done. He said, if 1,000 milligrams didn't affect the pain at all, I needed to come in because it was pretty severe. So I went in to my doctor's office. My neighbor took me. They were great. They took me to the doctor's office. So we got in there. He just barely pressed my back, and I started screaming, and he said, we're going to have to admit you. I need to get a new MRI, and I'm going to have to give you pain medication that I can't safely give you at home. So needless to say, we had to go to the hospital. This was Monday. They admitted me into the hospital, and they started an IV. In the process of the 3 days of them trying to get the pain under control, I ended up having to have 5 shots in one arm, in one shoulder, 6 in the other shoulder, an injection in my hip, injections in my IV sites, and I don't think you guys can see that bruise. I have bruises on my arms and a big bruise on my hip. So they had to switch pain medications. I think they put me on Percocet, Celebrex, which is for arthritis. The disc has arthritis in it. There was already a large tear on the right side. The tear is significant. They consulted my spine doctors while I was in the hospital. Again, they recommended that I come in and allow them to do a discogram and then surgery. And I told them that I was sticking to my guns, that I was going to make it through this without surgery right now because I'm getting ready for IVF. So they set me up with a pain management doctor who is going to now take over my pain management. They are going to try to safely get me through the next few months on a pain medication regimen, and we're going to see how that works out. Well, let me just briefly say, when you declare war on the devil, you cannot expect peace. And I have been declaring war. Satan don't like me, and I don't like him. So, you know, I expected him to try to attack me with something, but I'm holding on to the word of God because it said for everything there is a season. And I don't know about you, but I've just been declaring that this is my season. No matter what he throws my way, this is my season, and I will hold to that. So we got out of the hospital on Wednesday. The condition of them allowing me out of the hospital was that I would come home and stay on bed rest. But I had to make a stipulation in that and say that I would do this if I made a stipulation to the doctors. Okay. But the stipulation was I would do this if they allowed me to go to my RE appointment, which was Wednesday. I got out of the hospital Wednesday at 1:50. My RE appointment was at 2 o'clock, but the REs had already been talking back and forth to the hospital. They had worked everything out. It was just fantastic. So in part 2, I'll tell you what happened at the RE appointment. Bye.